Let me make this shit clear. I'm a player by design. Multiple women, one agenda. No attachments, no apologies. If you deal with me, understand the contract. I execute. DJ Urban T. It's a player life. Baby, forget the hype. Late night, same rules, I don't live that life twice. I ain't looking for love, I'm just here to play right. It's nothing but a player life, yeah, player life. Player life, yeah, player life. Yeah. It's 2004, that's the era I'm in. Walk in the club like I own this bitch. Scan the room slow, yeah, I'm choosing quick. Confidence loud, I don't hesitate. Eye contact strong, I decide her fate. Buy one drink, that's pocket change. Return on attention, I profit from game. Get the number fast, then I pivot smooth to the next, like I got shit to prove. Same method, different faces, same damn script. Homies running the exact same shit. We don't beg, we don't chase it. We select, replace, erase. Phone blowing up, that shit stay lit. Different women, same damn script. This ain't luck, this discipline. Cold hearted hustle, I'm living it. It's a player life. Baby, forget the hype. Late night, same rules, I don't live that life twice. I ain't looking for love, I'm just here to play right. It's nothing but a player life, can't play it. Baby, forget the hype. Late night, same rules, I don't live that life twice. I ain't looking for love, I'm just here to play right. It's nothing but a player life, can't. Brunch with a flight attendant chick, drinks with a nurse. Late night link, any skirt gets word. Separate stories, separate lives. Never mix names, never cross lines. I don't chase feelings or trigger reactions. Tell just enough truth to keep the shit active. She call it connection, I call it control. I read her insecurities, play my role. Pull back slightly, now she stressed. Scarcity tactic, now she obsessed. They want titles, I want access. They want loyalty, I want practice. I don't give a fuck about fair or right. I give them attention and ghost at night. One thing she's special, I let her believe it. One thing I'm honest, I strategically seed it. Tell her she different, whisper it slow. Same damn line from an hour ago. Yeah. From an hour ago. It's a player life. Baby, forget the hype. Late night, same rules, I don't live that life twice. I ain't looking for love, I'm just here to play right. It's nothing but a player life, yeah. Baby, forget the hype. Late night, same rules, I don't live that life twice. I ain't looking for love, I'm just here to play right. It's nothing but a player life. Met her Friday night, tension in her stare. I knew what she wanted before she got there. Leaned in close, voice low, precise. Whispered the right shit, temperature rise. Read her weaknesses, mirror tone. Made her feel safe like she finally home. Told her she read, said I don't do this often. Planted that seed, now her guard softened. Pull back once, let desire build. Psychology working, ego fulfilled. Touching and kissing, tension ignite. Undressing slow under dim ass light. I set the pace, I decide the lane. The moment lasts long as I feel the strain. When I'm done, no aftercare. She drift off quiet, I'm out of there. It's a plan life. Baby, forget the hype. Late night, same rules, I don't twice. I ain't looking for love, I'm just here to play right. It's nothing but a player life. Baby, forget the hype. Late night, same rules, I don't live that life twice. I ain't looking for love, I'm just here to play right. Nothing but a player life. Hours pass, mission complete. Sun coming up, back on my feet. No cuddle talk, no breakfast vibe. By exit smooth, ego satisfied. Phone blowing up, days later she pissed. Long ass voicemail, feelings twisted. She say I used her, call me cold. Oh well, I came just to play her. That's how this shit unfolds. Baby, forget the hype. Late night, same rules, I don't live the life twice. I ain't looking for love, I'm just here to play right. It's nothing but a player life, yeah. I said I'm a player, that wasn't a fake.
Welcome to the lounge, where we challenge accountability. I'm Urban, and we don't do surface talk here. We use emotional intelligence, thought-provoking, mind in motion. Truth be be stirring, deep emotion, no filters, no faking. This here, thought-provoking. Every beat a question, every bar a lesson. I turn the mic to a mirror, life's a session. Urban in the mix, soul and intellect blend. We ain't just talk truth, we set trends from Dallas to the world. We break that ceiling, no clout, just facts, that's the real feeling. Thought-provoking, mind in motion, truth be stirring, deep emotion, no filters, no faking. This here, thought-provoking. Trap drums drop, but the message don't fade. Every thought sparks like a hand grenade. Faith, pain, love, and drive all collide, that's how minds revive. All collide, that's how minds revive. Thought-provoking, mind in motion, truth be stirring, deep emotion, no filters, no faking. This here, thought-provoking. Mind open wide like a city skyline. Every topic shaped by design. The urban lounge where ideas ignite. Late night thoughts under podcast lights. Every episode of thought design. The urban lounge where iron sharp iron. We build from the ground like truth rewiring. Can't fake what's felt when the mic's ignited. If you listening now, you already invited. Thought-provoking, mind in motion, truth be stirring, deep emotion, no filters, no faking. This here, thought-provoking.
Warning, the following image and or content may be disturbing, offensive to some viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Real quick community guidelines before we start the show. Now I want y'all to know that this is a space for respectable, thought-provoking conversations. We encourage intelligent discussions, different viewpoints, and respectable debates. Disagree if you want, but do it with substance and respect. Self-promotion is not allowed. This is not y'all billboard. Links, spam, and promotions in the comments or in live chat will be blocked immediately. Distasteful trolling, insults, or bad faith behavior will not be entertained. You will be blocked and banned. No warnings, no back and forth. Finally, y'all will notice that the subscriber mode is on. It is only for 5 minutes, y'all. 5 minutes. That way we can protect the integrity of the show and also protect the integrity of people who actually want to comment in the comment section faithfully, all right? We're here to think, challenge ideas, and grow, and not derail the conversation. If you're here in good faith, then I welcome you. Y'all enjoy the show. Yo, what's up, y'all? Happy Saturday, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in to this episode of The Lounge. I am Urban. Appreciate y'all a whole lot, man. We got a really good episode that we're going to react to today. Appreciate each and every last one of y'all who stayed for the one pre-show as well, too. All my music that I have played on there, all the stuff for the intro music is on all streaming music platforms. All right, so Apple Music, Spotify, it is on every platform. My singles is on our music platforms. My album, which is Emergence, it's also on our streaming platforms as well too. So make sure you go and support your boy on that. All right. So we got a really good show. We're gonna want to react to. I was sent this, and I had found out that Anton Daniels had did a interview with Stephen A. Smith. So I only seen those little bit clips of it, y'all, but I haven't seen the whole entire thing. So this is gonna be a treat not only for y'all, but it's gonna be a treat for me as well to react to this. So appreciate y'all. Those of y'all who are in the building right now, make sure to go ahead and hit the thumbs up to support the channel. Sebastian, what's up with it, man? Talking about Thug Life. Talking about my Playa Life song. But what's up with it, man? Salute to you. Hey, what's up, Shugverse, my moderator? What's up with it, man? And as you see, yes, go ahead and support the merch. I do got merch out as well too, so support the merch. All right, it is on my homepage on my YouTube channel. All right, you want to know something, y'all? For the past 3 months, Anton Daniels have been trending a lot. He really started trending a lot when he did the whole Corey Holton situation. All right. When he ended up on going left, and of course, those y'all was here, we did a reaction video of it. All right, but ever since then, Anton Daniels, he been trending a lot in the social media space, especially on YouTube. The reason why I want to mention this is because I've been following Anton Daniels' journey. He has undoubtedly went a long way, y'all. He have. I remember when he first started off with Lapeef Network, you know what I'm saying, with JR and them. I remember how he transitioned from there, they end up leaving there and start transitioning, doing his own thing, and from there he just been going up. Now I know what y'all gonna say. I know what y'all gonna say. You're gonna say urban. Sure. What about Anton? He this and he that. You know, I don't like Anton or I love Anton. But however way you feel about Anton, one thing I can say about this respectfully is that I can respect this dude grind for real. I can respect this grind. I can respect what he's doing, even though you know some things that he may say that I may not agree with. Other things he may say that I absolutely agree with. You know what I'm saying? But I can respect it from one content creator to another. Because I want y'all to understand this clearly, that being a content creator, being an influencer, it is not easy. It is not easy. It is hard work. It really is. It is very, very hard doing what we do. Some people, they believe that they could just hop on here, man, and just do it just like that. Nah, It takes a lot of work. Takes a lot of intelligence, takes a lot of putting yourself aside, takes a lot of putting up with different things as well too. But the payoff, normally be good if you just stay pushing hard. I remember a point in time where, when people were saying the same thing about me at the One Lounge, you know what I mean, where, it's people that said that once when I'm not coming around them no more, I'm not going to be with them or whatever, right? Then I was going to be successful at all on YouTube. But look at me. I'm still here, still grinding, doing, really, really well. And the only way for me to go is continue to go up. So that's why I say I can respect Anton. I can respect what he's doing. And wish for the best for that brother to keep on his grind going, stay focused, make sure he makes his moves the way he need to make it. So without that said, y'all, let's go ahead and get into the content of the hour. So once again, Anton Daniels, he went on to Stephen A. Smith's show. All right. And he did an interview with Stephen A. Smith. So without further ado, make sure, once again, y'all hit the one thumbs up to support this channel. We got roughly about 100 people in here. It's going to be more later on tonight. I'm pretty sure of it. So those of y'all who are here right now, if you're already sub up to this channel, go ahead and participate in the chat. Those of y'all who not sub up to this channel, go ahead and sub up to this channel. And everybody, go ahead and hit the thumbs up to support the channel. That let YouTube know that you want more of this great thought-provoking conversation that we're going to have tonight. So without further ado, let's go ahead and listen to this interview.
He's a Detroit-based YouTuber, business coach, and internet personality with more than 1 million subscribers across his social media platforms, known for his pop culture and conservative viewpoints. Please welcome for the first time the straight shooter, the one and only Anton Daniels. What's up, big time? How are you, man? How's everything?
What's going on, Mr. Smith? How you doing?
Man, please, it's a pleasure to meet you, man. I've been looking forward to talking to you or whatever. First of all, here's what I want to do, because I respect where you're coming from. Even when you get on me, I'm going like this. Well, damn, he got a good point. He got a good point. It's no big, it's all love, brother. I'm good with it. Let me ask you this question. How would you describe yourself? particularly in this day and age? Are you a conservative? Or are you just a YouTuber? Are you a podcast? What would you say? What do you want the world to know you believe you are?
I wouldn't define myself as a conservative first. I would define myself as a saint first.
A
right?
saint?
I'm a saint, right? And it's a difference between a Christian and a saint. A saint is a person that believes every word in the word, right? We don't differentiate. We don't pick and choose which part of the Bible we believe. I even if I'm not perfect or I'm not doing everything right, I define myself by my belief in God. That's first, above all. And then everything else comes after that, right? So I am conservative, which I used to be Democrat. I'm not going to say liberal, but I am a Republican. I'm a conservative Republican. I've been married since I was 22 years old.
Before he go into detail with this, y'all, Anton, he just mentioned saying that he's a saint. He said his definition of a saint is a person who believes in every word of the word of God. Okay. Every word of the word of God. And we know when we hear every word of the word of God, that's translated that he believes in everything that the Bible say, correct? Right? So I'm kind of curious on this. If he say that he believes in the word of God, right, and everything in the Bible, right, why I haven't seen Anton Daniels do anything, according to the Bible for us, celebrating the actual feast days, not holidays, but feast days. A matter of fact, a feast day is coming up right now. The Passover is coming up. I have not yet to hear Anton Daniels say, since I follow the Bible, I follow the word of God, me and my family, we're going to celebrate Passover. I have not yet heard Anton Daniels say that me and my family is going to celebrate the Day of Atonement. I have not heard Anton Daniels say that me and my family is going to celebrate the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So if you're following the word of God to the T, then that means that you can't differentiate anything about the word of God. You got to follow it, period. If you say you're a saint. You have to follow what the one commandments of the Bible say, the 10 commandments of the Bible. You have to follow the dietary laws as well too in the Bible. So you have to follow everything that the Bible talks about. Even like case of point, like even the Bible talks about a man in his hair in his beard. In the Bible, in the Word of God, it restricts men for shaving their hair on their beard or on their head as well too, and that's in the Bible. So I'm kind of curious that he say that he's a saint and he's following the word of God, but just like I told y'all earlier in the beginning, I've been following Anton for a long time, and I know good and well that this dude is not following the Bible, the word of God, like he said is. He's doing what everybody else is doing, which is pick and choosing what he wants to follow that goes according towards his lifestyle. So let's keep it real. But let's continue. Phoenix, what's up with it?
So I've been married for the better part of 22 years. I'm a father. And then more importantly, I'm a bag chaser. So I'm always going to do the thing that adds value into people's lives. And I expect to be fairly compensated as a result of it.
When you decided to support Trump in 2024, what was it about the MAGA movement that made you support it? Was it the fact that you are, as you described, or was there something different transpiring in 2024 that you saw compelled you to gravitate towards that?
Well, the first thing is I felt like the election was stolen from him in 2020. There's no way that anybody can convince me that Joe Biden is the most popular president of all time and he got over 81 million votes. I'm not going for it. The second thing is that I start to take a deeper look at my own life, right? Because especially as Black people in the community, we taught to automatically vote Democrat regardless because we Black, right?
Yeah.
But when I started to deep dive into the things that Democrats stood for, it wasn't the fact that Republicans or Trump or MAGA first got my attention. The first thing that got my attention is the things that I didn't align with the party that I had been voting for based off of what my family told me to do, right? I don't believe in men and women's bathrooms. I don't believe in, a lot of the stuff, my dollars going to the federal government and letting them manage my money more than I can. I believe in smaller government. I believe in spirituality. I believe in a lot of the things. And so when I started to figure out, what are we doing? Why am I voting this way? I started to explore, what about Trump didn't I like? And I realized that it was more propaganda that was fed to me, and that, he was supposedly be racist and all of this stuff. And then I started to evaluate every other president that came before him. And I realized that he's just a quote unquote straight shooter, right? I mean, he just tells it like it is, regardless of whether you agree with him or not. And most of the things that he said, I aligned with.
One of the things I want to push back on you on this notion about the 2020 election from this perspective. I believe that the election was legit, but not for the reasons one would think. I totally agree with you. I don't believe anywhere in hell 81 million people wanted Joe Biden to be president. But I do believe 81 million people wanted anybody but Donald Trump. So because of that, it makes it because of that, it made it believable in terms of chaos, how much noise was being made. You know how people were like, you had people celebrating in the streets like, oh my God, we're finally free. You saw how exaggerative and how extra folks were when Trump was put out of office. So I'm saying that to me was emblematic of a large portion of America saying we wanted a break from all of that noise. That's why I believe the election was legitimate.
So real quick, let me ask y'all this question. All right. So back in 26. Well, let's go back. Let's go back about 2019, because I believe 2019 is when we had the pandemic, right? So when Trump was in the office during the pandemic, right, during COVID, he was actually in the office in the worst time. It was good times at first, because when he was in office and this administration was doing certain things that was, beneficial for the American people, which is he was, getting people jobs. He was doing things, literally for the community, including the Black American community. He was doing all these different things, ratifying laws, doing all kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Then the pandemic hit. And so when the pandemic hit, it put a strain on his administration. And so when the pandemic was over, after the tail end of that pandemic, that's when they ended up having the election again. And that's when, people, they just got burnt out of Trump. So I believe that the votes wasn't stolen for Trump. I believe that he got beaten by Biden based on popularity. You know what I'm saying? That's what I believe. Because other than that, if let's say during that same scenario that Trump was doing everything possible to help support the American people during the pandemic, right? And he did a phenomenal job. I guarantee that he had a second term over Biden going that second time around, solely through the popularity vote. But that's what I believe will happen with him. Now, one thing I do want to share with y'all too is that I'm not a MAGA supporter, nor I'm not a Trump supporter. But what I do is that I look at who would be the best fit for the representation of our nation. Now, when Biden was running again, I believe that he was the best fit for our nation at all, because he had some mental, well, not just mental, but he had some medical issue that was going on with him. So it'd been damn near impossible for him to run as president again. When Kamala decided to tag team and decided to take the mantle and run in as well too, I believe that Kamala was not the best fit to run this country. You know what I'm saying? Due to different things that Kamala had did as being vice president under the Biden administration, different choices and decisions that she made, going out, to UN and NATO and all this stuff that representing the nation, and she wasn't doing that very well, periodly. To be honest with you, she was doing pretty poor in that endeavor. So that's the reason. That's one of the main reasons why, me personally, I did not want Kamala to be in the office. You know what I'm saying? Now, if it was a choice between, her, Trump, and another dude, right, that was running, my first option would have chose the other dude that was running. You know what I mean? But due to the popularity, you only could choose between Kamala and Trump. So It is what it is. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Let's continue.
Okay, Steve.
Oh, and also make sure y'all hit the thumbs up as well to support the channel. We roughly got I'm looking at 128 people in the building right now, and we only got 11 likes. So let's go ahead and get them likes up.
So let me push back at you a little bit.
Sure.
Why are Democrats so against voter ID?
Well, hold on. We ain't got to argue. Me and you align with that. It don't make no. I'm not supporting. Listen, you got to have an ID for everything.
Right.
Please, I'm with you with that. I mean, I do think it was ridiculous, but I also pay attention to Senator Fetterman, who's been supportive for the most part of the Republicans. When Fetterman said, quote, he says certain things about the SAFE Act are a bit extra. Yeah, you essentially got to have a passport, and it is more difficult to get ID, under these restrictions that they're putting out there than it was before. So I do believe that, but that doesn't mean that both sides can't come together and resolve that in a damn day. And for the Democrats to act like no ID should be required or whatever, like California and some of the stuff I learned about them and what they're doing under Gavin Newsom, that is utterly ridiculous. So you and I we ain't far off on that.
But that tells me, though, that they're fighting for it for a reason. And I don't believe it's because they really believe that people are being disenfranchised at the polls. I believe that they're fighting for it because they truly believe that it's going to affect whether or not they get elected and future elections.
Facts.
And I believe that the Democrats, their whole strategy, because as people get older and wiser, this is not even my opinion, this is a fact. Most people evolve to become more conservative, and then they sometimes, more often than not, deflect over and to become a Republican, right? When you're younger, that's really a Democrat's game is being, liberal, right? Because you don't know any better. But as people get older and wiser, they never defect from the Republican Party over to the Democrat Party. It's usually the other way around, right? So what they have to do is they have to find new voters and new people that support them. And I believe that the civil rights movement was hijacked by feminism.
Facts.
Feminism ultimately was hijacked by the LGBTQ movement, which Obama ushered in, and he solidified that. I believe that diversity, equity, and inclusion was ultimately the thing that they really leaned on in order to make sure that they had people in the voter rolls that not only identified as Black, not only identified as Latino, not only identified based off of their sexuality, but they needed a whole new voter class. And I think that immigrants was definitely the play.
So also, I talk about this all the time on the lounge as well too when we talk about the feminist movement. Now, the first and second wave of the feminist movement was undoubtedly needed back in that time, okay? Because during that time, during that particular time, yes, the men were being abusive to their women. That's been abusive to their wives. That's been abusive to their sister. That's in up here raping and molesting their daughters and cousins and all kind of crazy stuff they had going on. So yes, the first and second wave of the feminist movement was undoubtedly, it was needed during that time because the patriarchal system was screwed all the way up. But however, just like what Anton said, that movement ended up getting hijacked. It turned from a civil rights movement into more of an empowerment movement for women. And that's where we enter into the third and fourth wave of the feminist movement, okay? Where now they hijack, us coming together, as people, and during that time, our ancestors, they wanted to be free as well too, so they end up joining together within that movement. Then later on down the line, the LGBTQ community did the same as that thing, where they literally did it, hijacked the movement and turned it into more of an empowerment thing instead of a rights issue. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, everything that he's saying, that is correct. That is through research. It is documented in everything, And those of y'all, if you're not familiar with the whole concept about the feminist movement and all the ways and how the way it became, and also investigating Obama's part in that as well too, I would challenge you to do your research on that for real, and you'll find out the truth behind that for sure. But y'all let me know in the chat as well too, how y'all feel about all of this so far. How you feel about, politics? Because I know that politics could be a very, very touchy subject. You know what I'm saying? Because people have their own particular belief system dealing with this. You have one people who are part of the Democratic Party. You have another people that's part of the Republican Party. You have other people who consider themselves as conservatives. You have other people who consider themselves as independent as well too. So y'all let me know how y'all feel about this and where you stand within these said parties. Now I could tell you this also. When I was growing up, I was part of the same black family where all my family told me to vote Democrat. They didn't give me a reason why I should vote Democratic, right? You know what I'm saying? But I did it. When I got older, 18, I was voting Democratic every single time. But later on down the line, when I became older, right, I started understanding like this Democratic is some bullshit. So I started changing my stance to where I started leaning more to be conservatives, where I could have a little bit of this from one party, a little bit of that from that party, another bit of that from that other party. But that's where I stand in that situation. And yes, you're true. You're absolutely correct. All these parties are absolutely trash. I agree with you. I agree with you. But that's what's so bad about it, though, ladies and gentlemen, is that they put us, American people, into a situation where we have to choose the lesser evil. And I believe that is so psychologically wrong. They know good and damn well that the choices that we have, these people do not care nothing about us whatsoever. And that goes with either party, whether it's through Trump or whoever it is. At the end of the day, all they care about is their old money and old policy. Let's keep it real. Keep it real. So it puts us, the American people, into this situation to where we have to choose the lesser evil. And like I say, I believe that that's wrong. Shout out to everybody who's in the building again. Appreciate y'all so much. We are reacting to Stevie A. Smith interview with Anton Daniels. They currently are talking about politics right now. So once again, if you're tuning in right now, make sure you thumbs up the video because it helps support the channel. Lucifer, what's up with it, man? I ain't scared to say Lucifer on here, bro. What's up with it? Salute to you. And salute to everybody who's either watching in the bushes or catching the replay of this stream. So let's go ahead and react to some more of this content.
And that's why they're fighting so hard against voter ID.
But I don't disagree with most of that. What I'm saying is we can point to things that the Republicans do.
Oh, we're going to talk about the voter ID thing a little bit, too. I'm giving y'all my perspective on it a little bit.
The conservatives do to position themselves for the same thing. For example, when you're redistricting in Texas, for example, and other places, you're doing that because you want to position yourself to get most votes.
Absolutely.
This is politics. This is politics.
Absolutely.
So in other words, we can't hate on one side for coming up with a mechanism, you understand, to curry more votes in your favor.
We have to, Stephen A. And the reason that we have to is because it's one thing to, you said it yourself. I can't even jump on an airplane unless they identify who I am. I can't get a place to stay. I can't get a car. I can't get anything. But I can determine who it is that makes the laws that ultimately govern us. Like if that isn't the thing that we need to protect more than anything else in our culture, in our society, I don't know what is. So we have to be vigilant to make sure that every vote is valid and every vote is counted. And we can't just let, mail-in ballots or people being able to, I say gaslight us, and I believe in that, this election is free and fair when it's not. And I don't believe that that's what happened in 2020.
Well, see, even then, ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe that voting is as sufficient as they say it is. How can I explain this to y'all? It's almost like voting is an illusion to us, okay? It's like something to make it seem like that is sufficient and efficient, but in reality, it's really not. If that makes any sense. Like, case in point, I give y'all an example. Like, if I want to right now, I could create a poll on the chat right now. Create a poll on the chat and get y'all to vote. I could create a poll on the chat to get y'all to vote. Which one of these gentlemen is more educated Stephen A. Smith and Anton Daniels, and I created a poll, right? And y'all beginning to vote on that poll. And the reason why y'all vote on that poll is because through psychology, right, you feel like that you're a part of something bigger than yourself, correct? But in reality, the person who created the poll to begin with the first place, which is me, right? I don't give a damn whether for Stephen A. Smith or Anton Daniels is smart. It is the whole point that I wanted to manipulate you to get you to vote on the poll. I believe that politics is the same exact way that voting is a part of an illusion, to be honest with you, to make us feel like that we are part of something bigger than ourselves, to make it feel like that we're participating in something that is bigger than ourselves. So guess what? We're participating and we do it. And I'm gonna throw this key point out too, and we're gonna talk about the voting ID thing and stuff too later. But 90, I say that I'm be real. 100% of us, right? When we do go vote, do we actually vote about the policies first that have been put in out there, or are we literally voting because of the person? And I want you to think about that to yourself. Just think about that real hard. Do I literally be voting because of the actual policies out there and I took time out to figure out what's going on in our nation? Or am I simply voting because it's a character that I like? 9 times out of 10, the first response is that you're voting because of a certain person that you like. Like case in point, I'm over here in Texas right now. Jasmine Crockett. Over 95% of people was voting for Jasmine Crockett, not because of the certain policies or whatever that she put out there, which she haven't put a whole lot of policies out here, by the way. She haven't wrote a whole lot of bills, by the way. But we wasn't trying to vote for her because of, the different policies or anything like that she's putting out there. We voted for her because of her polarizing character. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. I'm voting for Jasmine Crockett because she's real. She's just like us. Keep it real. Same thing dealing with the presidential election. People was voting for Trump because they felt like Trump was keeping it real with the actual American culture. I'm voting for Trump because he could relate to me being a farmer and he cared about us farmer people. Not because of policy. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she's empowering women. Not because of the policies. She's empowering women. She's just like me. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she's part of the Divine Nine. She's an AKA. So I'm going to vote for her because she's an AKA. Not because of policy. And the same thing occurs with all these other individuals who are in office right now. You're not voting because of the certain policies they have. You voted because of their character. So let's keep it real. And that's the reason why I say that this voting thing, to be honest with you, is kind of an illusion. To make it feel like they reported something bigger than ourselves. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the chat. Let's continue.
Let me tell you this too. Let me tell you, because you left out something that's very, very important, Anton. When you in New York City and you need an ID to shovel snow, but you fight. I mean, you talk about telling on yourself. You talk about telling on yourself. I mean, Mom Donnie and the Democrats. I mean, it just went out the window. You fighting for the safe act not to exist, but in the same breath, you require an ID to shovel damn snow. I mean, that argument went out the window for them. There's no question.
I don't understand. I know you were born and raised in Queens. I know your roots is definitely New York. I know you a Knicks fan, and it breaks my heart to see what the Pistons are going to do to the Knicks. However,
I thought I liked you, bro. I thought I liked you. You got to bring up the Pistons. You got to do that to me, bro. I mean, you got to do that. All right, go ahead, man.
However, I have to say that you must be disappointed in what is happening in New York. And I'm not even talking about with Kathy Hochul. I'm not just talking about with Zoran Mamdani. I'm talking about city council. I'm talking about Eric Adams. Everything that has transpired over the last 5 years in New York has ultimately led to you guys electing somebody that hasn't even been born inside of the United States of America, and y'all married to them. So it bothers me. It bothers me that this country, is going the way that it's going.
You use the word disappointed. Nah, bro, I'm scared. I think New York is going to be an unmitigated disaster. I'm scared as hell. I already moved out the state, bro. I already bought a house in Florida. I ain't gonna lie to you. I already bought a house in Florida. I'm like, hell with this. This is an absolute mess. So you
So
have
Florida
your point.
worse,
I'm
though, to
just
be
saying
honest.
that you're making points about the Democratic Party. What would you say about the Republican Party? You're not about to sit up here and act like they're paragons of virtue, right? And that they're always honest and straightforward. We're not going to do that, are we?
No, I think that Bush the second was the worst president in my lifetime. I absolutely hated him because of the things that he did to the economy. That was the worst time of my life. I went broke. I think that Obama inherited a mess. I don't think that everything that Obama did was wrong. I actually think that Trump's policies more or less align with what Obama was doing in 2008, 2009, 2010, right? If you look at Nancy Pelosi's policies back in 96, right? If you look at what Joe Biden said that he stood for, if you look at what Obama represented, those are the same things that Trump represent. They want to make it seem like, well, him deporting illegal migrants is such a bad thing. Obama deported over 3 million people.
Facts.
In his terms.
Facts.
Trump didn't even deport 1 million people in his first term in office. So I don't think that what Trump is doing is so radical. I think that what he's doing is more closely aligned with what moderate Democrats was doing back in the 90s.
Facts.
So with that being
So before Steve A. Smith gets to his next point, let's go back and revisit this voter ID thing. All right. So this is where I stand in the situation. All right. I'm going to give you my personal perspective, and I'm also going to give you my professional perspective as well, too, because I used to, over here, work with the government. I used to work for the Department of the Health and Human Service Commission. So I done seen a whole lot. All right. So I believe that the voter ID is very essential for our nation because a lot of illegal immigrants been getting away with far too much bullshit over here. To be quite honest with you, I believe that America being way too lenient with illegal immigrants. Way too lenient. I'm gonna give y'all an example. While me and one of my homeboys, we was having a conversation about this earlier today, right? And so he was telling me about how he knew some people who were, they've been over, in our one country for over like 20 years or whatever stuff, right? No ID, no nothing, no green card, nothing like that. And they literally created a life. And all of a sudden, ICE pulled up and, hey, told them they got to go. And so he was telling me, he was kind of feeling some type of way simply because of they been over here for a long time. And so I was telling him this. I like, look, bro, for us, like morally concerned, then yeah, I could agree with you on that. But however, when it's dealing with what's right, dealing with laws that have been placed over here, no, they're wrong. They know good and damn well that they should have got their identifications, their green cards and everything over 20 years ago. They had plenty of time to get that together, but they purposely chose not to do that. Then I also made a point of saying this. I like, look, what if it's the other way around, right? Let's say hypothetically speaking that you travel to another country, like you travel to Europe or whatever stuff, right? Europe or Asia or whatever, right? And you decided that you want to stay in this country, then you're gonna live your life in this country, right? And you also made a conscious decision that you're not gonna get your documentation so you can be a citizen over there. You're just gonna lie. You're gonna manipulate the system, do what you got to do, right? Guess what they're gonna do at that other country? They're not gonna put up with your bullshit like America be putting up with it. They're gonna the moment they find out, they're gonna deport you, and you're gonna be coming back to America right then and there. Or the worst case scenario is that they're gonna lock you up for a really long time, and then you're gonna have to try to see if you could get America to bail you out. So it's different. It is very different in other countries versus America. And that's why I say America being way too lenient. Now, here's my professional part. Once again, I told you I work for the Department of Health and Human Services, right, for over 11 years. So I seen a lot of things. I have seen a lot of illegal immigrants come into this country, get benefits from us, right? They get SNAP, Medicaid. They even get not loans, but actual grants to start up small businesses. Yeah, the ones that y'all be seeing them little corner shops and stuff, right? Where they be creating on corner stores and stuff, right? Yeah, they didn't get that through loans. They got it through grants. Grants. And so I seen this happen with my own two eyes. Part of my job is that I either had to either approve or deny them. And guess what happened? Most of them I end up on approving them. And you want to know why? It's because of policy and politics. Being dead honest with y'all. Like that situation, I believe it was a couple of months ago, where they had discovered that the one Somalians was running daycares and stuff. And you want to know how they got that money to do that? Grants through the government. And so I have seen that. Meanwhile, us who've been born over here in America, the moment when we either lose our job, what happened? The moment we lose our job, what happened? We try to apply for unemployment. Guess what they tell us? If you make over a certain type of income bracket, you can't even get unemployment. If you make over a certain type of income bracket, you can't even get food stamps or Medicaid or none of that. So it is some absolute bullshit where when people who are literally struggling over here in our country, they can't get these said benefits, but yet still illegal immigrants just come over and do it. And I'm once again, I'm telling y'all this out of professional experience. I've seen this happen. So I can understand why there is a strong stance to end up going after these illegal immigrants, because they've been, like I say, they've been over here way too long. Now, also, I want y'all to understand this. I want y'all to understand this, okay? I'm not creating propaganda to make you hate illegal immigrants, okay? Because I don't hate anyone, nor I don't dislike them. But however, when it's dealing with policy with our country, right is right, wrong is wrong. Because if we are in another country, right, guess what? We have to follow their policies as well too. So if we have to do that in another country, then yeah, they need to be doing it over here in ours as well too. And that's where I stand in that situation. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Do you believe that it's okay for illegal immigrants to come over to our country and be able to reap the benefits that you work hard for, right? And then when it comes time for you to use them benefits, you can't use them? Well, what do y'all think about that? Do y'all believe that's fair or unfair? Even with housing as well too. Housing. It is hard as hell for a lot of us American citizens to even get a loan for a mortgage. But guess what? With them, it's not hard at all. That's why all this stuff had to be changed. Now, once again, I don't agree with a lot of stuff that the Trump current administration is doing. But one thing I do agree with, when it deals with these policies, right? Nah, yeah, they got to deal with this for real, because that's crazy. And we paying money into this. By the way, those of y'all who are working citizens, you're paying money into this. You're literally paying money to give to somebody else who don't even deserve it. I'm just saying. But shout out to everybody who's in the building. Make sure you hit the thumbs up to support the stream. We are reacting to Stephen A. Smith and Anton Daniels interview. All right. So let's go ahead and continue.
Is it fair to say that you wouldn't be against the Democratic Party if it represented what those Democrats represented back in the day, that your real problem is with the progressive movement that appears to have taken over the Democratic Party, and that's what you completely disassociating yourself from?
No, absolutely not. I believe in less government. I believe that people that are here, they should be here legally. I don't believe in men and women's bathrooms. I believe in smaller, much, much smaller government. I don't believe in higher taxes. I don't believe that you are independent. I think that you are conservative. I think you're a Republican. And not just with your dollar. I think that you are a Republican, but I don't think that you are willing to admit it openly because of the backlash that comes along with the Black community and not supporting people. that aligns with the Democratic Party.
Okay. Now, I'm glad you brought that up because allow me to retort to that. I don't give a shit what people say. If I feel what I feel, I'm going to stand on it. My challenge is knowing what I'm talking about. You study politics more than I do, along
Absolutely.
with various others. And so because of that, there are times that I'm simply uncertain about a position. And because I'm uncertain about a position, I lean on the same old, same old. Like, for example, I'm about the economy. I want a strong economy, okay? So I'm about free market capitalism. But I like some safety nets, not just free market capitalism and let's minimize government involvement to the nth degree. I think that
Like
makes
what?
me...
What safety nets?
No, I'm just talking about, well, when you talk about economically speaking, I don't want over-regulation, but I don't want zero regulation either. You see what I'm saying? And in a binary system, they force us to pick a side. So for me, when I say I'm an independent, I'm like, damn, there's certain things that I lean a little bit here to the right, and then I lean a little bit here to the left.
I don't think that the Republican Party forces us to pick. I don't. The Republican Party.
No, I'm just answering your question about me. I'm just answering your question about me, just for clarification purposes.
That's fair.
With immigration, the only reason I totally supported Trump closing the borders because Biden opened them. If Biden had never opened them,
why not vote for him? Why not vote for him?
Because first of all, I've said this on many occasions. I would have voted for Nikki Haley. I would have voted definitely for Nikki Haley. Possibly DeSantis. I didn't like his remarks about good points about slavery, so I probably turned against him because of that. I didn't appreciate that shit at all. But I would tell you, for the most part, him, and I would vote for Marco Rubio. I wouldn't hesitate. But also know this about me, because I'm glad you asked, because I heard you touching on some of my politics with some of your cliques, and I was like, I can't wait to speak to this brother, right? And I said to myself, I said, listen, I don't blame him for feeling that way because he don't know me, and I've never really discussed a lot of this. But I said, listen, if you're sitting back and it's like, all right, it's immigration, follow the Obama policy, go ahead and keep that policy in place, I would have supported that. When you talk about safety in the streets, damn right, you ain't getting out of jail the same day you get in jail, not on my watch. Oh, hell no. So in that regard, yeah, I'm more conservative than liberal. But entitlement programs are more liberal than conservative. I think the desolate and disenfranchised, because I think the desolate and disenfranchised need a helping hand from time to time. I know it helped me and my family. Now, we didn't lean on it. We didn't depend on it. We didn't live off of it for decades. But to get a helping hand, to uplift yourself, sometimes I think that's needed, and it doesn't bother me. So I'm pro-choice, because I don't believe in telling a woman what to do with her body. I think I'm more of a supporter of the LGBTQ plus community than conservatives are. So those are the reasons why I would call myself an independent who leans a little bit left instead of right, to clarify.
But here's the thing, though, Stephen A.
So how do y'all feel about that? About his last comment, he was saying that he's pro-choice for, we can't tell a woman what to do with her body. He was also talking about the borders as well too. How y'all feel about his stance on that? Okay, because my perspective is this. Once again, I live in the Lone Star state of Texas, all right? And so the state of Texas, and down in the southern part of Texas, like in Brownsville and all the stuff there, we deal with the issues of border crisis, all right? Many of y'all, if you're being kind of keeping up with politics, like last year and the year before, right, there was a huge issue with illegal immigrants literally infiltrating into the southern borders, and the southern border includes Texas, and includes California, and different things like that, and they was literally infiltrating through there a lot. And another part of that, through the infiltration, was that the Spanish, the Mexican cartels was literally smuggling, or I put it this way, they was trafficking people between the borders, okay? And so there was trafficking people and also trafficking drugs as well too, through the borders. And so it became a huge issue. Now, keep in mind, Stephen S. Smith said earlier, and Anton said earlier stuff, right, that the Biden administration had opened up them borders to allow this situation to happen. Hence, this is the reason why, we got all these illegal immigrants that's here right now. Like I say, I've been living in Texas all my life, right? And so y'all know how the way I could describe this. Y'all know that wherever state that you're living in, right? Within the state, it has certain communities, right? And so you'll have certain communities where, it's a influx of Black American living in this particular community. Then you have another community where it's Korean Americans living over here. You have another community where it's white Americans living over there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm making a point with this. Now, once again, I've been living in Texas all my life, right? There been a huge infiltration, even within every community, the Black communities, the white communities, whatever. It been a huge infiltration of Mexican illegal immigrants going into these communities, getting houses, building houses within the lands of this community illegally. So I remember walking up to like a corner store or whatever stuff, right? Where I walk up to the corner store and I'm like, God damn, how the heck Pedro here? And I ain't saying this to be, racist, whatever. I'm like, damn. I remember when my boy was here. Now there's nothing but Hispanics here. You know what I'm saying? But that's the point that I'm making, that it's a huge infiltration of that. And it was allowed through the Biden administration. And so it became an issue. Now, the other part where Stephen A. Smith was talking about the LGBTQ community and about, a woman and their rights and different things like that. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did plenty of streams talking about that particular issue, how the way I stand on abortion rights and different things like that. Okay, but make a long story short, now part of me believe that a woman should have a right to do whatever it is that she want to do with her body, but it's only to me, it's only for a certain extent, because when you deal with modern women have weaponized their body, their choice to do some wicked stuff. Like, for example, they know good and darn well that sitting up here procreating or having sex with men, right? Allowing these men to, ejaculate in them, and also purposely, so they could run game on that dude. Now, we could blame it on the dude. Undoubtedly, we could blame it on the dude for doing that dumb stuff. But at the same time, there are women who do this. There are also women who are so fast out there, right, that they'll tell the dude this. They'll sit here and tell the dude, I don't want to put on a condom or nothing like that because it feels better. They'll manipulate that dude to do that, and that dude end up doing that, right? And next thing you know, he end up on doing what he do, and then all she got to do is either take a plan B, or if that plan B fail, she could simply go get an abortion. Killing the child out of selfishness from both parties. That part right there, I don't agree with. I don't agree with that. And hence, that's the reason why a woman's body is becoming messed up the way it is right now. Where if they were to decide to finally have a child, that's why when they decide to have a child, it's almost like they're sacrificing their life for real, because they got all this stuff going on with them. Birth control, abortions, all kind of other stuff going on with them that's rejecting their body. So I believe to a certain extent that, yeah, some things do need to be regulated when it's dealing with women's rights and abortion, preferably that abortion thing. But I don't want to go into too much of a stream to that, because I done people who familiar with me, I done gave my stance on this over and over and over again. I done said some extreme stuff as well too, y'all, but we ain't gonna go that deep, y'all. Once again, we got over probably about almost nearly 200 people here right now, and yes, we only got 26 likes, y'all. Come on now, y'all tripping tonight. We only got 26 likes, and we got almost nearly 200 people watching the stream right now. So go ahead and hit that thumbs up, because it supports the channel. When you do that, it lets YouTube know that you want more of these conversations, okay? So go ahead and support the channel. I'm not asking for no cash apps. I'm not asking for no super chats or nothing like that. Just hit the thumbs up to support the channel. That's all we need, all right? Now, once again, we are reacting to Stephen A. Smith and Anton Daniels interview, all right? They're talking politics. They're leaning towards, pro-choice and all different other stuff as well too, all right? So make sure that y'all support this stream. All right. Shout out to everybody that's in the building right now. We got Observer in the building. Observer Melly, what's up with it? Welcome back, brother. Gertrude, what's up with it? Salute to you as well too. Even got Mama Irby in the building as well too. What's up with it, Mama Irby? Appreciate you for joining this stream tonight. All right, so we got a cure in the building as well too. So appreciate y'all as well too. Later on in the stream, I will go back and look at some of y'all chats and see where y'all talking about as well too. All right, so let's go ahead and dive deeper.
The Republican Party is not distancing itself from people that's choosing to live their life the way that they want to live it. That's not the position, and that's how it's marketed from the Democrat Party. Okay. There's plenty of gay people, there's plenty of people that live alternative lifestyles that are a part of the Republican Party. What the Republicans are basically saying and standing for is we should not be allowing for children to transition themselves or for parents to transition children before they become of age. We should not
totally
allow
agree with that.
But see that
1,000% I agree with you.
That Republicans are radical. They're not radical in their stance against anything. They believe in, freedom of religion and for you to be able to practice however you want to practice.
Right.
They're not trying to abolish gay marriage. None of that stuff is existing, right? That is a marketing ploy. But Democrats are extreme in their push for it in order to align themselves with certain groups. No, that has been since Obama
back in the day.
Office.
All right, I got that. But I grew up in the 80s and the 90s and what have you, and I was hearing a different thing from the Reagan and the H.W. Bush administration. So you got to take that into consideration, and maybe I dropped the ball because I'm thinking about Republicans and conservatives, and I'm thinking about what the party had always been, even up until McCain was running, and I'm looking at it from that lens. That's all I'm going to. But let me get back to you.
Hold on, but let's stay on the my body, my choice part.
Sure, no problem.
Republicans are not removing women's rights to do what they want to do with their body. The only thing that they're saying is we don't want that to be the responsibility of the federal government. If that's what you want, then you can vote for it on a state level. That's all they're saying. But see, the miscommunication is that they're completely against it. I can disagree with your lifestyle, but still respect your right to do what you want to do because we're governed by the Constitution.
Facts.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like my ultimate thing is we are a republic governed by the Constitution, and so we're protected based off of our rights, our amendments, our right to carry, right? All of these things. Trump is the only person that's protecting and going against birthright citizenship for illegal migrants, leveraging that when that was literally made for Black people and slaves.
Now, I also want to touch in on this. Now, I also want y'all to understand clearly that I also have that same stance as well too, that at the end of the day, whatever you want to do for your lifestyle, that is totally between you and God, if you believe in the God, okay? But where I draw the line is where they try to tie lifestyles into policy and say that this is what you got to do, or they try to force it upon us. Like, say, for example, we was talking about earlier about the LGBTQ plus community, right? Have no problem, no issue with the overall lifestyle with that community whatsoever. I don't have an issue. If that's what y'all want to do, that is what you want to do, period. But however, when you try to force policy on us, say for example, I put you this way. They'll try to force policy where you end up having a child, for example, right? You have a child and they're teaching certain propaganda in your school system, teaching you that instead of what always been a gender is a man and a woman, right? They're teaching propaganda in the school that a gender is normally a man and a woman, but it's a gender is fluid, it's non-binary, it's binary, it could be trans, it could be non-trans, it could be an animal, it could be bestiality, whatever the hell they wanted it to be, you know what I'm saying? And they're teaching this propaganda into our school system. That's where I be drawing the line and say, nah, because that's not true. Because you're going past a lifestyle, you're trying to make it policy. You're trying to say that this is what it is. And I don't agree with that, period. But there are others out there where, they so much, they don't care about that, where they don't care, you know what I'm saying, about kids learning about, this weird stuff, you know what I'm saying? They don't care at all, period.
I don't see anything that he's doing policy-wise when he's coming, when he's developing a lot of these things that create criteria for people to meet the expectation in order for them to get certain things, even when it comes to government services and help and food stamps and Section 8 and all of that stuff, they're not getting rid of it. They want to remove the people that are taking advantage of it from a fraud perspective.
Facts.
Let me throw this by you.
And I have, when I was working for them, right, I had written out so many fraud cases, man. So many I can't even count on my finger, man. Fraud cases. The majority, I'm put it out this way: the two common fraud cases is dealing with illegal immigrants and dealing with white Americans. Kid y'all not. The leastest ones is dealing with, other ethnicities like black Americans and different things like that. And y'all want to know the reason why it was less with black Americans or other ethnicity group? The reason why is because most black Americans, right, they didn't want to lose their benefits because they relying on this, so they'll try to play ball or they'll play game. But don't get me wrong, they'll do like some little undercover stuff. Like, say for example, they'll do that little undercover stuff where they'll get their benefits right, and they'll walk up to you like, hey, sure, I buy your grocery for some food stamps, right, so I can get some money. They'll do stuff like that. But literally creating fraudulent cases and stuff, right, giving food stamps to people who are deceased. No, that's not lower ethnicity that does that. There's immigrants and white Americans, to be honest with you, through the cases that I have found.
Let me throw this scenario about you. Do you have siblings?
I do. 3 brothers, no sisters.
All right, so you don't have any sisters. Okay, so
No
it's
sisters.
a difficult question to ask you, but I'm gonna try anyway because I have 4
You're a daughter.
older sisters. I have 4 older sisters, right?
Okay.
So you feel the way that you feel, but your sisters come up to you and say, "You ain't a woman. I am, and we need this." And what he or they are proposing is against us. Now, that's not a community backlash. That's not worrying about what the public thinks. But I'll be damned if I didn't hear my sisters come in my face and remind me of the fact that you were raised by 5 women, and we don't appreciate what he and them, meaning the GOP, are attempting to do when it comes to our rights as women. I'm asking you, what are you supposed to say, think, and feel in that particular scenario?
I want them to tell me what rights is being removed from them. Because I know that women often at times react emotionally, and they're letting their emotions dictate their actions, right? It's okay for you to be emotional. Everybody has emotions, but I'm not going to let that determine what I actually do, right? And so the thing that I want to understand is the facts. So I would have a conversation with them, and I would ask them, what right is it that's being removed from you? Because I don't see it. I don't see any policy. I don't see any legislation. I don't see anything that's being removed from you from a Republican perspective.
Okay. Anton Daniels right here, a straight shooter with yours truly, Stephen A. I want to get to the black community in this regard, because one of the things that, listen, like I said, I don't consider myself a black conservative. I consider myself a black man who is an independent that leans left on some things and leans right. That's me. That's how I think about myself.
You can't be that way, Stephen A. You cannot be that way.
I believe I can.
No.
We could answer. I will gladly come on your show. We can argue about that all day, every day, bro. I'm happy to. I can't. Oh, come on. Oh, please, man. All you got to do is say the word.
Because
you say the word, I will come on your show. It's not a problem. It's not a problem at all.
You could do that in sports. You can't do that in popular culture and politics.
Because why?
People in the middle get ran over. You got to pick one side or the other.
45% of the U.S. population is independent right now. I would beg to differ on that. It's climbing.
They not.
If anything, listen.
So real quick, ladies and gentlemen, I want to challenge y'all on this question. Do you believe that you have to choose sides? Once again, do you believe that you have to choose sides? Because that is what Anton is implying to Stephen A. Smith, that you have to want to pick a side. You got to be for one and against the other. Do you believe that that's what you got to do? Now, I know the reason why Anton Daniels is saying this. The reason why he's saying this is based on his religious beliefs. Okay. Now, according to the Bible, right, it says that a man cannot have two masters. You're either going to serve one and hate the other. And that's scripture. And so due to his Christianity values, that's the reason why he believes that you have to choose a side. You have to choose either one or the other. So even right now, dealing with this, let's say hypothetically in politics, right? Do you have to want to choose a side, one or the other? Let me say in the comments. Lester, he said this, I picked sides. There was nothing about Democrats or Republicans in the Constitution. Got you? Observer said this, no, you can be an independent voting. Gotcha. So we all agree that you either can pick a side or you don't have to pick a side. You believe you don't have the choice to do that, correct? If I'm saying that correctly. Now, let me kind of pick our brain a little bit. Now, earlier, those of y'all who wasn't tuned in earlier, I had made this statement. Talking about politics. I told y'all that how the way politics and voting works is that they give you a illusion to make it seem like that you've been empowered to be a part of something bigger than yourself, right? So even dealing with choosing a side, I also mentioned to y'all that also what they do is that they make you choose the lesser of the two evils. And then they plant it there to make it seem like that either you're going to choose this or you're going to choose that. But if you don't choose nothing at all, then that's even worse. And I want y'all to just think about this critically. Now, let's dive deeper into that. Let's say in a hypothetical situation, right, where we decided that we're not going to choose this person, choose person A. We're not going to choose person B. A matter of fact, we're not going to choose, period. And everybody collectively start thinking the same exact way, and everybody decide to exercise their right and not vote. My question to y'all is this. What do you think will happen in the whole democracy phase? Do you believe that the system will sustain due to all of us collectively together not voting for what they want us to choose? Do you believe it's going to collapse due to us choosing that we're not going to want to choose to participate in this? What do y'all think? And this still goes into the same situation about choosing. Because also a part of the choice is that you could choose just not to participate at all, period. But check this out. I don't know if y'all was paying attention to this, right? Maybe y'all should. Whenever they start doing these runoff, I believe they're gonna start doing runoff elections in May. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention to that in y'all state. Pay attention to when they start campaigning again for these runoff elections, right? And pay attention to one of the main things that they're gonna tell you. The main things that they're gonna tell you is this: if you don't vote, then there's something wrong with you. Why do you think they tell you that? What y'all think about that? Why do you think they tell you that? Because if you exercise your option to not even vote at all, guess what? They're not going to have a victor. They're not going to have a person that they want to be put into the office. Guess what's also happening is that us as American citizens, we're literally exercising our right, and it's like we're literally becoming where this country is listening to us, and not the other way around. Where it does matter. So my stance on this is that I believe that if you're going to choose, then you need to choose what's going to be the overall best for all of us. Not no lesser evil type thing that they got going on. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Let's continue.
The independent vote, I think, is going to swing the election one way or the other. What do you say to that?
I don't believe.
You don't think that's going to happen?
I don't believe that 45% of the population is independent. I think that they say that as a cop-out for not wanting to actually say out loud exactly what they represent and who it is that they support, especially within the Black community. It's not popular to say that you're a Republican. It's not popular to say that you're conservative. And so what people lean on is to say, well, I'm independent, in order to give themselves an out for what it is that they choose and not to be accountable for who they support. That's what really is happening. See, I don't believe in what people say. I believe in what people do, right? And I think that a lot of times people are peer pressured, especially today in the Black community, to vote against their own best interest because it's not popular to do when you can't be a part of the cool kids club. And so even with you, true. I don't like the fact that you apologize for some of the things that you said, because you were absolutely right, especially and particularly against how Jasmine Crockett was representing herself.
Facts. I agree.
Because the woke mob decided that they wanted to make you the punching bag and to come after you, and they still didn't and don't support you and didn't accept your apology. But in particular, and I'm saying it's not you, the Don Lemons, the Joy Reids, all of these people, they don't respect you unless you align with what they believe. And so even when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, they don't believe in diversity unless it's aligned with what they believe, which goes against. It's an oxymoron, right? It's hypocritical. And so even when you have an opinion, they don't believe in Black Republicans. Mm-hmm. They only believe if you believe in them and diversity as it aligns with their agenda. Mm. That doesn't make sense. How can you want to have voices in every part of government, or voices that's different from yours, or representation, but you don't want representation when it doesn't agree with you?
Right.
Like, I can disagree with you on a particular issue, but it doesn't mean that I remove your right to vote, or your humanity, or I can't agree with you on this other issue. But that's not what they do. They're not tolerant like they sell you.
We all know that when it comes to cancel culture, the Democrats are the ones that are guilty of that. It ain't the Republicans 100%. And the right trying to get people canceled. It's the progressive left. There's no doubt about that. We see that every single day. As it pertains, and I'm glad you brought that up, as it pertains to my apology to Jasmine Crockett, what happened was Trump came out thereafter, because I backed it up and I stayed on my position. Or not just the first time, but the second time. But then Trump came and used that as an excuse to start questioning our IQ and the intelligence of this Black woman. And I didn't want to be a part of that. That's why I apologize for it. You can agree or disagree with it.
You can't apologize for something that you didn't do wrong, Stephen A.
Well, again, but if I felt like I contributed to something that happened wrong to her, that was my only issue. But it didn't take away from what I was saying. Yo, acting like that ain't gonna cut it. Yo, that's not gonna win the election for you. That's not gonna win the Senate seat. That's not gonna make you have more power, more influence in the House of Representatives.
That's not who you are.
Sure enough,
that's not who you are when you talk about sports. When you talk about sports, you say what you say, and it is what it is.
Yeah, but the point is I have the facts to back it up, not just my opinions. See, when the Detroit Pistons lose to the New York Knicks, so when they lose to the New York Knicks, Anton, right? Okay, I can speak definitively as to why, because the outcome is the outcome. There's nothing subjective about it. So that a lot of, and I get what you said, and I appreciate your comment about that, because a lot of people have looked at me, and even when they've supported me, they've been critical of me from the standpoint, yo, he's talking, but it ain't the same Stephen A. with sports. And I'm like, yo, I got facts to back me up.
Nah, I call bullshit on that.
That's bullshit.
I call bullshit on that. The reason why I'm calling this right is because of this. The reason why Stephen A. Smith could be able to articulate the way he articulate himself dealing with sports is because of what? He do his research. He'll take time out of his moment, of his life, to research film, analysis, and different things. And so when he go onto these shows, right, he'll be able to articulate it the way that it need to be articulated from him. So I call bullshit on this is because if he is this intelligent man, like he portrayed himself to be, right, then why in the hell is he not doing the same thing dealing with politics? All he have to do is research politics. Same thing what Anton does. Research politics. Research politics. Figure out the facts behind certain political agendas and be able to articulate yourself. Why you can't do that? The answer to that question, brothers and sisters, is because he chooses not to do that. Not because he's incapable of doing it. It's simply because he chooses not to do it. And the reason why he chooses not to do it is, let's be real. Politics is not that interesting to this dude. But however, he will talk about it because he knows that politics will be polarizing. It will help him with his content. It will help him with his views. It will help him to capture a certain type of demographic or audience. So he'll talk about it. He may have like a few, little talking points behind it. And that's it. That's how far he will go with it. But sports, on the other hand, no, that's totally different. So that is a Stephen A. Smith issue because he's choosing not to do that. Same concept with Anton. I told y'all earlier, right? Those of y'all who wasn't here, I said earlier that Anton said earlier that he considered himself as a saint. Okay. He said the reason why he considered himself as a saint is because he follows the word of God. I say, okay, fine. If you consider your saint, nothing wrong with it. But however, I challenge that ideology, right? I challenge it by saying this. I'm like, okay, Anton, if you say you're a saint, right? I've never heard you on your show say that you was going to celebrate the Passover. The Passover is coming up in a couple of weeks. The Passover. I never heard this dude say, hey, me and my family is going to observe the Passover because that's biblical. I never heard this dude say, hey, I'm going to be a part of the dietary laws. I never heard this dude say that, hey, I'm going to follow the law, statutes, and judgments of God's word, which is the 10 Commandments. I never heard this dude say that. I never heard this dude say, me and my family going to participate in the Feast of Trumpets, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Day of Atonement. I never heard this dude say that. But yet and still, he said that he's a saint and he follows the word of God. And the reason why he don't do that is because he chooses not to do that. Same thing with Stephen A. Smith. He chooses not to do that. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Let's continue. We also have, we got 182. We've been spiking at 200, 300, y'all. And we only got 51 likes, y'all. Come on. I am doing a phenomenal job giving y'all this good old thought-provoking content, y'all. So go ahead and if you have not liked this video yet, please like it right now. All you got to do is double tap the screen, y'all. It's that simple. Just double tap the screen. Let's get up to 100 at least, y'all. All right. Appreciate you. Oh, I said I was going to get to the comments as well. So let me go ahead and get to the comments and we're going to continue. All right. Appreciate y'all want to tune in. Let's go ahead. Let's do these comments real quick. All right. So Observer said this. He said, heck no. Grown, broke adults need to stay in their own countries. Occur said millions of black babies killed by abortions, LGBTQ, our youth are losing their salvation. Gertrude said, nope. Lester said, I picked my side. There was nothing about Democrats or Republicans in the Constitution. Appreciate the comment. Observer come back and said this. He said, no, you can be an independent voting. Then Lester come back again and say they're on the same team against us. Then said we get a dictatorship, and finally follow up and said we need the system to maintain itself. And finally, we got Chief Mellison in the building. What's up with it, brother? Appreciate you tuning into the lounge. He said this. He said, yeah, but being a Christian, the new law, we don't do that, bro. And then he followed up and said, you're wrong, big bro. You're wrong on that. Now, let me clarify this, all right? Let me clarify this because I don't want to get into this religious debate because we'll be all night on this. Now, if you are declaring yourself as a Christian, respectfully, say this again. If you're declaring yourself as a Christian, respectfully, You are not following the word of God. Because the word Christian or Christianity is nothing more of a name. The word Christian is not even biblical, period. Now, however, I can meet with you and say that within the Christian or Christianity belief system that they do pick and choose what type of system that they want to follow, which in this case, what you want to mention about, brother, is following the new law. The new law is dealing with the work of Jesus Christ, or as they call Yahshua HaMashiach, all right? So the new law is dealing with Jesus Christ, and the new law is dealing with Jesus Christ being the sacrificial lamb, and it also deals with what the one book of Hebrews is saying as well too, that Jesus is the new law, that you should follow his ways, okay? But the only thing about that is this. What they don't tell you is that even when Jesus was going through his process, right? He was going through the synoptic gospels. He was still following the law all the way up to his death, burial, and even resurrection. A matter of fact, his disciples were still following the old system and old law even after his death, burial, and resurrection. And this document is starting in the books of Acts. When it started changing, then we'll go back to this. When it started changing is when the letters of Paul, the moment when Saul became Paul, and he started writing them letters, and he started ushering other ethnicities into the original system, that's where eventually the birth of what you know as Christianity came into place. But nowhere in scripture it talks about anything about Christianity or being Christian. That is a subtitle or subname that preachers and pastors made up to separate themselves from the original traditions or original law. All right. But just like I say, we could go deeper into that because, like I say, I used to be an associate pastor, and and all that stuff there. So trust me, I know. But the show ain't about that right now. But let us continue, y'all.
In politics, this is my perspective, and somebody comes up with something else. I'm listening to you right now. I'm going like this. Well, I did feel this.
Oh yeah, you good? You good?
Damn good point.
No worries.
He did make a damn good point. Yeah, I got to listen. I got to think about that. Because that's how it is.
If they would have listened to you, if they would have listened
she would have won. She would have won. She'd have won.
We align with that, right? But instead, we're more focused on how we feel instead of the results, which leads back to your original question about having a conversation with your sisters. My goal is to get the best results. And ultimately, sometimes I can't even be the nice person to you because I have to be the best person for you, right?
Okay.
I kind of look at it, especially when it comes to women, because there are women that are still protecting my family and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I can't be, like I have a daughter, and I know that you have a couple daughters. Yeah. I can't be her friend. I have to be her father. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes she doesn't know what's best for her, which I can lead her through that with a conversation, but more importantly, I need to educate her at the same time. But I still want the best results. And if people really cared about Jasmine Crockett, then they would have stood 10 toes down and told her the truth instead of just going along with the get along game to make her feel good about it. And now she's not even a part of she got eliminated in the primary.
Mm-hmm. There you go. We're talking to Anton Daniels right here on Straight Shooter. What's the hardest part about being a Black conservative?
It's not hard at all. It's not hard at all. It's beautiful. I think that it's like being a man. Sometimes I think the true measure of a man is doing the things you don't want to do when you don't want to do it. All the time, you don't always want to get up and go to work, right? Because sometimes you're tired. But guess what? Part of being a man is getting up and taking care of business because you got people to take care of.
So real quick, my moderator, Lionel, we was Shugverse, right? He was on the phone with me, right? And I literally told this dude, I like, man, look, bro, I got a live start up tonight, and to be honest with you, I really don't feel like doing this live at all. Period. Guess what he told me? He literally told me the same exact thing what Anton is saying right now. He like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Should we men You know, we got to do things even when we tired, man. We don't feel like doing it because it is our responsibility as men to always be about our word. That's ultimately what he said. Long story short. I'm like, you know what? You're right, bro. Let me go on and do this live. So, yeah, he's absolutely correct. That should be a foundation for us as men, period, that we have to be about our word. Even when we don't want to do it, we still got to do it. We have to make our yes be yes and our no's be no's, period.
And I think that we've lost that as men, and as masculinity is continuously demonized in a culture. Sometimes we look at it as a bad thing. I look at it as a badge of honor. So I don't think that there's anything, honestly, I don't look at it. I can't think of right off the top of my head something that I'm bothered by when it comes to being a conservative or Republican, because I just think it's an education process. In the same way that I used to critique and look at other people and say, man, I don't understand why they a Republican, is the light and the insight that I had to get. And ultimately it was people that stood 10 toes down and didn't change just because they wanted somebody to feel good about them, which gave me some incentive to do my own research. And then that's what led me to being Republican myself.
You said black culture has become, quote, I'm reading from something that you said here, too victim oriented. But the
Absolutely.
wealth gap is real. But the wealth gap is real. The median white household has several times the wealth of the median black household, which I know you know. Where do you draw the line between personal responsibility and at least acknowledging structural barriers that may exist?
I don't believe that there are any structural barriers in 2026. And I think to say that it is disrespectful to the people that was actually civil rights leaders that fought for our ability to do the things that we're doing today. We don't even show up to the polls. And most of the time, especially if it's a local election or it's an election that's off cycle from the national election, we're less than 20% showing up at the polls, but it's people that died for us to vote, right? We literally can determine our own future today. There's nothing holding us back. Now, if you told me this 100 years ago, 50 years ago, I might have listened to you. I might have took that and said, you know what? There are some things that's preventing us from being what we are. But honestly, most of the things, I would say 98, 99% of the things that is wrong with us is self-inflicted wounds. And life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. So if you're telling me, like, for example, they'll use, schools and HBCUs or whatever. I went to community college and I made my way through corporate America and got to some of the highest levels in corporate America in banking, information technology, UX, UI. I went to community college, transferred over to before I went to community college, I got a job at the University of Michigan. The University of Michigan then helped pay for my education to go to a major university after I transferred from that community college. Why don't we embrace that? Why don't we embrace trades? Why don't we embrace, different cultural norms that's not toxic to us? So in 2026, if I'm expected to teach my daughter, who just turned 18, that there's something that's preventing her from being successful and she need a leg up or a handout in order to be that, it'll be a cold day in hell before I ever tell her that.
See, you and I disagree in this regard. I believe that when you talk about most of our issues are self-inflicted, I'm just not going as high as the 98% that you threw out there. I think it's more like 70-30 personally. That's what I do. I think it's more like 70-30 in your favor. But I think it's more like 70-30. And here's why. Because I can use the word structural barriers, but then I can turn around when you debunk that and say, okay, no proverbial glass ceiling. I certainly believe that exists. There's definitely a proverbial glass ceiling. Because when you walk into, you walk in, like, for example, let me use me for example, because you'll appreciate this. So everybody talks about me and they talk about my contract and, I signed this contract with ESPN. All
Beautiful. This. And congratulations on that.
I appreciate that. I saw your comments. Thank you for that. But let me say this to you. Bro, it was after I worked in the business for 20 plus years. And if it was after I watched a multitude of people get their paper. So I have this saying, and I'll give you the floor to answer this. I've had this saying. When the white folks catch a cold, black folks catch pneumonia. It's always worse for us. And the system is designed in such a way where it doesn't mean that you won't get yours. It doesn't mean that you can't get yours as a black person. But usually there's a figurative line and it's going to be somebody white ahead of you that's going to get it. That's what
Who's ahead of you right now? Who's
ceiling.
Ahead of you, Stephen A? Nobody. You ain't even.
That's after 20 plus years, though.
But that means you worked your ass off.
Yes, exactly.
I read your book. I know everything that you went through. I know where you got started. I know what happened at Winston-Salem. I know how you got injured. I know where your inspiration came from. right? I know that you was over in Philadelphia really working your ass off in order to get to the spaces that you in. I know that you took accountability for your contract not going the way that it was supposed to go in 2009, right?
Yep.
I know that you talked to the head of ESPN and he told you that your time wasn't up yet, but you worked your ass off, right? You wrote articles, you did everything that you needed to do. I know that you leveled up and nothing that you did could be taken away from you because you earned everything that you have. You didn't run in the Victim Olympics, and I think that you're handicapping other people because you deserve that $100 million contract. Nothing in your book, not one thing that I read in your book, straight shooter.
Right.
Not one thing that I read in your book. Even when it came to your childhood and your father and you describing everything that he did that ultimately led you to becoming the man that you, even when you talked about kids teasing you based off of dyslexia and everything, not one thing in your book did you ever make an excuse for and say, you know what, I'm a victim. You use that as leverage and motivation to push you further.
Yeah.
And you are the top dog in the field right now.
But I appreciate
that.
But
how can you make that argument, Stephen A., when that's not even a reflection of what your life is?
But because what I'm saying to you is that just because I'm not encouraging anybody to embrace victim mentality. I apologize if I gave that impression, but I had to be that dog. I had to push through. I had to keep going. All I'm saying is I acknowledged in my own mind some of the barriers that I was going to have to maneuver my way through in order to ascend. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, and I wasn't going to embrace the victim mentality. But it doesn't mean that I was walking around acting like it didn't exist. I just knew I had to overcome it because bitching and whining about it ain't going to get it done. I knew that. That's all I'm saying. That's entirely different than saying it doesn't exist.
When we say that, we give people permission to bitch and whine. And I'm
okay,
just tell
then say
you,
that.
When we sit here and we look at the quote unquote wealth gap,
okay,
if you really do your due diligence and you study, you'll realize that we demonize and we make the person a litmus, the person that we're chasing, white people. I will tell you that all you got to do is look at the census and look at the income inequalities. And I will tell you that white people are not ahead of us that much. They're about right here. The real people that's generating the most revenue and the highest household income on average are Indians and Asians.
Yeah, what he's saying, that is true. White Americans is roughly about 3 to 4%. All right. And we're roughly behind them. But the overall income makers in this nation is dealing with not immigrants, but Indians, okay, and Asians. That's why, another reason why this immigration thing is so important, okay? I want y'all to think about this situation clearly. Imagine these Indians and Asians who are over here in this country right now illegally. They're just overshadowing all of us, making all this substantial amount of money, benefiting from us, right? But they over here illegally. What do you think that will put you as a person who's struggling and trying to claw himself way out of the bucket and trying to, make a substantial living? Well, meanwhile, these, Indians and Asians, they over here illegally and just doing it just so seamlessly. To be honest with you, it'll make you feel some type of way because honestly, that's how it made me feel. Now, it's a difference. It's a difference if they over here right. They're over here right and they're doing everything right, then that's what happens. Then that's a difference. Then we can respect that. You know what I mean? Anton, he said something else that I didn't agree with, but I'm going to wait until they finish this particular segment, all right? Once again, we got 314 people in here right now. Appreciate y'all tuning in to the Saturday stream. We reacted to Stephen A. Smith interview with Anton Daniels. Do me a favor, y'all. Make sure y'all hit the thumbs up to support this stream. At least get me to 100, y'all. We're about 55 likes so far, 55 likes. So we got about 270 people in here right now. So go ahead and just either double tap the screen if you are watching for your mobile device or if you're watching for the TV or whatever, hit that thumbs up to support the channel. All right, let's continue.
Mm-hmm. It's not white people. So why do we use white people as the scapegoat or as a measuring stick for what it is that we need to do and automatically qualifying them? Because I can tell you when I was in my software engineering classes, there were no black people. All of them was going into business. All of them was doing marketing, and all of them was doing a bunch of stuff that they wasn't really trying to do because it was easy for them to stay in school and still qualify for their student aid. They're not picking STEM fields. We're not picking the right curriculums. We're not going into healthcare. We want to always take the shortcut as a culture, and that's why I say that the culture is trash. It's not black people. It's the thing that we celebrate the most that ultimately is the thing that holds us back. The culture is toxic, and we push it and we promote it. And as long as we continue to believe that it's systematic things that's holding us back, then we'll never get to the place that we're supposed to be at.
So essentially, I'm willing to concede, first of all, that everything that you just said is on point. What I'm saying to you is me acknowledging whether it's a proverbial glass ceiling from time to time or whatever, is not the same as, okay, you're encouraging folks to embrace a victim mentality. I might sit up there and tell you the obstacle, but at the end of the day, you still got to overcome it. We won't hear no damn excuses. Like you said, I got 2 daughters. Look, I don't want to hear excuses. You understand? You educated, you smart, figure it out. I'm going to help you as best as I possibly can. But we ain't adopting and embracing this mentality that there's no way we're going to succeed because there's barriers in our way that are unfair. Get the hell over it and let's figure out how to do it.
I think we push it. Even in 2026, we push it.
Really?
And that's
in
what
2026?
Absolutely. We push it. We push it with diversity, equity, and inclusion. We don't feel like we can get a job unless somebody gives us a leg up.
But diversity, equity, and inclusion, black folks weren't even the primary beneficiaries of it. It was white women.
But you can't sell that to them. You can't tell them that because they still believe that that is something that they need and it's a handicap, but it really didn't even benefit you.
Now, this is where I'll draw the line and I disagree with it. And I wanted Anton and Stephen A. Smith to specify what it means to have the victim mentality, all right? So this is where I draw the line where I disagree in this conversation. I disagree with the fact that let me put it this way. Let's say me, for example. Let's say that I am a millionaire, right? I'm a millionaire and I have my children who their father is a millionaire, correct? I don't agree with the whole notion that my children have to struggle just like how I struggled to get to the same results. You know what I mean? I don't agree with that at all, period. To me, that is very toxic. That is stupid as hell. I also believe that this is the same type of childish mentality that happens in the Black American community, where we have this weird-ass crowd in the barrel mentality thinking that I done clown myself out of there, you got to figure it out. I don't agree with that concept at all, especially dealing with family. Now, if I'm the beneficiary, right, I done worked so hard to get to the point that I'm at right now, I'm not going to sit up here and tell my children that you got to work twice as hard as me to get there. If I have the resources to get you there, then guess what I'm going to do as a father? I'm going to get you there. Now, within the process, of course, I'm going to be teaching them responsibility behind it, right? And that's where people make the mistake. They don't teach and train responsibility behind it. They just hand it out to them and just hope for the best. No, you got to teach and train them. Just like what the Bible say. Anton say he believe in the Bible, right? The Bible clearly said that you train up a child the way he should go and he won't depart from it, correct? So if you train them properly, even dealing with business aspect, right? Guess what? They're not going to forget that. They're not going to forget it. And they're going to implement that in their adult life. So I believe that you should do that. Absolutely you should. And I'm putting it this way too. My new profession that I work in right now is that I work in recruiting. I have seen it times and time again where this white American, either man or woman, will literally hire somebody because of this. They'll hire somebody because they either know them, they'll hire them because they're part of some type of Greek organization, or they will hire them because they see that they're going to be a beneficiary to their said business. They don't hire people based on just solely based on their skills and ability and their education. No, that's bullshit. They don't do that. I'm telling y'all they don't do that. So if they are doing that with each other, right, why the hell is it not okay for us to do the same as that thing? oh, you got to struggle to get it, or you got to do that. Same concept. I give y'all one more concept as well too. Also, I am a current content creator and influencer on here on YouTube, right? Guess what I do? Whenever I get, let me redirect. I get a lot of information from YouTube, okay? I literally be talking to YouTube all the time. I have a partner manager and everything that I email or be emailing me every week. Guess what I do? Whenever I get any type of information that I know it could be possibly beneficiary to people, guess what I do? I throw it out there and I share it with people. I'm like, hey, a matter of fact, case in point, I had posted on my community wall almost like 2 weeks ago about the Oscars, right? I posted on my community wall, I said, hey, federal content creators and influencer, I received an email. They said that if you start doing reaction videos or anything relating to the Oscars, they're going to push your content automatically. And that's what my community partner manager told me in the email. And guess what I did? I shared that information to people who wanted to hear it. Hey, this is what they told me. You either choose to do it or not, but that's what they said. I did the same exact thing. I had did a reaction video based on the Oscars, and I was talking about who I was talking about, y'all. I was talking about what's that actor name? Damn, I forgot him just that fast. The dude that played on Hustle and Flow. That dude. But I did a reaction video on him, and guess what happened? They ended up pushing my content because I was talking about the Oscars. Because he was Terrence Howard, because he was an Oscar nominee. So I believe that when that opportunity is there, I believe it's your responsibility to share that knowledge. Now, it's totally up to the people to do what they're going to do with their knowledge. Now, if they decided to do some crazy stuff with it, that don't have nothing to do with you. That's on them, not you. So this right here, that's what I'm saying. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with all that. And then you want to label it as victim Olympics too? No, I don't agree with that at all.
And that's my whole point, is that you don't need it if the person that benefited from it the most is the one that you're using as the litmus. Then why would you have it as a part of your agenda? Why would you have it as a part of what you need in order to be successful? You don't need it. I see people every day criticize Martin Luther King, and they say, well, part of the reason why we are today, what we are, is because we should have stayed segregated and we should have depended on ourselves in order to continue to be successful. Well, you can't have it both ways. I disagree with that narrative, but you can't have it both ways. You can't say that we should have been integrated while at the same time criticizing a system that we integrated into, and then at the same time say that, well, you know what, we would have been better off if we just stayed to ourselves. You can't have it both ways. And we speaking with forked tongue because we're looking for an excuse for why we're not successful instead of just doing what we got to do. Life is hard for everybody. There's plenty of white people every single day that's suffering. They on drugs. They highly medicated. They on government assistance. More white people are on government assistance than any black person, any black culture,
and that's
any part of black
true.
culture in the United States of America.
White people and
life
immigrants.
is hard for everybody. Either you a winner or you a loser. And it's no way that I'm ever going to find myself in a losing category because I refuse to. I'm just going to work. I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to out hustle you. I'm going to study more than you. I'm going to do everything that I can to beat you.
I can relate to that. Anton Daniels right here with Stephen A. So when Trump goes about the business of at least appearing to, the Smithsonian Museum and stuff like that, and basically trying to block access in some people's eyes to Black history and stuff like that. You don't have any issues with things of that nature. You don't find yourself questioning anything about Trump that makes you say, now that's not necessary. You don't need to do that. Or, anything that'll make you say, I don't think he's looking out for the Black community nearly as much as he should. Nothing at all. Of course,
I think that he's done more for the Black community than any president before him, especially in my lifetime. Like, it's a regular question. It's an ongoing question. Before I even start to address Trump and how he permanently funded HBCUs, while he's working on birthright citizenship, that's literally that was for slaves. That shouldn't even exist at this point. How he created opportunity zones in his first election, in his first term in office, in order for us to invest in our own communities. We can go down the line on different things that he's done specifically for Black people. The better question is when you compare and contrast and you pay attention to somebody like a Barack Obama, who's endeared to the Black community because he can sing. I love his jeans. He wears mom jeans, and he's a smooth brother. But when you ask yourself the question, what specifically did he do for Black people? You come up with nothing. Zero, zilch, nada. So how can we hold Trump to a standard that we don't even hold the
But you
first
just
Black
acknowledged
president in the
earlier.
United States of America?
But you just acknowledged earlier what Obama inherited. You understand what I'm saying? And you could get to the
but he
Affordable
was in
Care Act.
office for
24 million
8 years.
people. I'm sorry, 24 million additional people on health care insurance. You could put. Some people will point to that. Some people will point to that.
The healthcare system as it stands today. The
It's
Department
bad
of
now.
Education as it stands today. It is all horrible. It is bad. And again, we diverting away from the question, what specifically did he do for Black people? Because we hold Trump to a standard that we don't even hold Obama to.
That's good.
Nobody can point to one thing. I could tell you what he did for the LGBTQ community, though.
I can too.
Fair enough. You're moving deeper into political commentary, obviously. Elections, Trump, Black conservative space. Are you yourself becoming a political figure in your mind, or is politics just content?
No, I'm deep into it. I don't think that you can divest from it because it's a lifestyle. So for example, I believe you should live and be a reflection of whatever it is that you stand for, right? And this is why I hold a lot of people accountable for some of the things that they say, because it's like, well, your life isn't a reflection of it, right? Let's say, for example, the relationship space. And everybody can have commentary on a relationship, but very few people have been successful at relationships long-term or been successfully married. So I give a little bit more credence to the person that's a reflection of it. Or you could say a preacher, right? Who would go and listen to a preacher that's not a reflection of the thing that they preach? Once that preacher gets exposed, then it's all downhill from there, right? So when I say that I'm moving deeper into the political sphere, I don't think it's a limit for me, honestly. I mean, at some point, I'll be honest with you. And one of the reasons why I'm still here in Michigan, I got Detroit on my back right there. And shout out to everybody that's in Detroit. I might run for office. The only reason that I haven't so far is because it would limit my financial ability to really add value to my family at this point.
There we go. So you relate. To all the news out there. Hell, I ain't giving up that money. I ain't giving up that money, Anton.
So let me also clarify the question that Stephen Smith was asking to Anton. Okay, the question he asked him, it was dealing with content creation and being an influencer, right? And he used the word public figure. Now, this is what Stephen A. Smith was actually saying to Anton. He was simply saying, Anton, is this your actual lifestyle, how the way you're living, or are you doing this to grift and just simply create content? And I believe that this is a very valid question that he asked Anton, simply because there are a lot of content creators out there who literally are grifting people. Case in point, those of y'all who are tuned in right now, majority of y'all who are tuned in right now, y'all familiar with my content. Y'all familiar that I do red pill content where I'll be doing reactionary videos. I put out shorts related to red pill content and different things like that, right? But the type of red pill content I do is not designed to grift, but it's actually designed to empower. It's designed to educate you about the trueness of the nature of the red pill. Now, there are other content creators who literally grifted it and stuff, right? And you know what I'm talking about. There are content creators out there that y'all know what I'm talking about. They be out there creating panels and they be separate arguing for about 10 to 20 hours on panels and stuff, right? Grifting red pill content. They never come up with any type of solutions whatsoever. They have people, preferably men, right? They help people, preferably men, stay in what is known as red pill rage, simply because they know that red pill rage sells. If I could keep this dude mad at women all the time, 24/7, all day, every day, guess what? They're going to be paying my bills as a content creator. That's what grifting is. And so that question is very valid. And also Anton, when he answered that question, he answered it very validly. He's basically answering it based on experience. You could tell when you listen to someone that someone literally have experience on the type of situation that they're talking about. Like case in point with me, when y'all come over here and y'all get information over here at the lounge, right? And I begin to share with you my personal anecdotal experience dealing with relationships, dealing with modern day women. Not nothing I just made up, but literally this is my experience that I done dealt with. And you could tell by my passion behind it, right? Guess what? You as an audience will gravitate towards that. Like, you know what? I feel urban on that because I experienced that too. That's my situation. But what's different is this. Once when I show you my anecdotal experience about things that I dealt with, I always come back and challenge accountability. I hold myself accountable, and I also challenge accountability for you as well too. Simply because I want you to do better. I want you to be the better version of yourself and not continue to make the same mistakes over and over again like I did in the past. That's the difference between it. Hence, that's what Anton was saying about him as well too. He said he done went through this, he done went through the fire, he done tested and tried, and this is the end result of him where it literally became a lifestyle, and now he's just sharing this information. So it's a difference between the two. And there's also a challenge y'all as well too about the type of content that you be consuming every single day, especially on YouTube. Now, I understand that some of it is entertainment. I get it. Understandable. But you also have to train your mind that it's no more than entertainment. Okay? If you see these other content creators out there, right, and they doing the stuff that I'm telling you, right, and your mind is set on it is only entertainment, it doesn't bother me, then so be it. Ain't nothing more looking at a Marvel movie. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. But however, when you start consuming it, right, and it becomes your immediate reality, and now you're projecting that out into your immediate reality too, where it literally becomes your religion, your worldview, then that's totally different. That's when you need to start reevaluating yourself. That's the reason why, to be honest with you, that's the reason why we are currently having these gender wars we're having right now. It's simply because people don't know the difference between entertainment and actual reality. People don't know that some of these people out there are literally grifting you for your emotions just so they can get paid. Respectfully. But yes, 77 likes, yeah. Y'all gotta come on now. But we almost at 100, y'all. Come on, get me at 100 likes, y'all. Get me at 100 likes. Once again, those of y'all who are tuning in right now, I appreciate y'all a whole lot. We are reacting to Stephen A. Smith interview with Anton Daniels. They are having a very, very phenomenal conversation. I'm enjoying it a whole lot. And I know y'all enjoying it as well too, because y'all are listening to it on this Saturday night. So do me a favor, make sure you hit the thumbs up to support the channel. You can either double tap the screen if you're watching on your mobile device, or if you're watching on a laptop, whatever, just go and hit the thumbs up. Appreciate y'all a whole lot. So let's continue.
It ain't happening. I work too hard to get this money. I'm not giving it up, bro. I'm not doing it.
I'm not ready for that.
The politicians are asking for the money we making. Why would I give that up? Why would I give that up?
Because I believe that, you know, you truly have to be a public servant. I don't like the political landscape. I think that Congress, it aggravates me that Congress still gets paid while they control the purse strings to the country, and TSA agents ain't getting paid.
Yep.
I believe that they need term limits. You know, it's a lot of things that I think needs to happen. But more importantly, I believe that the true heart of what we do politically is what we do locally. I know we focus a lot on what's happening nationally. We focus on Congress. We focus on the president. We focus on the Senate. But we really need to be focusing on millages. We need to be focusing on policy that's happening inside of these cities. Mm-hmm. I see what's happening in New York. They promised y'all a lot, but now they're looking to raise property tax values maybe 10%. Right? I think that local politics is more meaningful than what's happening on a national scale.
Yeah, I say that too.
Before I let you get on out of here, just a few more questions. When you think about what you've done and what has resonated most, some people would think it's you and Corey Holcomb. Some people would think it's your politics. I mean, what was it for you? I mean, what that experience? I watched it. I ain't got too much to say about it. I ain't trying to get in that mess.
I'm surprised. You should.
Well, listen, man. Listen. Cat's gonna talk, and I'm like this. I got mad respect for how you handled yourself. I tell you that much. I got mad respect for how you handled yourself, and I think that
Yeah.
it was a good conversation ultimately. But clearly things almost went off the rails, and I'm glad it did it, because that wouldn't have been a good look for two brothers.
No,
to be going
absolutely
at it
not.
like that.
Yeah.
So, what were your thoughts? First of all, how have things been since that happened? And most importantly, do you like being popular for stuff like that, or is there something else you like being popular for more?
I don't care about what I get popular for. I just think that I need to become more popular. And the reason that is because I think that once people discover you and they start to do a deep dive into what your conversation is or what your content is, that's the thing that then resonates with them. So people go viral every single day, for different reasons, but they're one-hit wonders, or they fall off because they don't have anything that's relevant that allows for people to still follow them and keep them. So popularity and getting the word out and becoming more visible is necessary in order for you to be successful financially, is necessary in order for you to be successful as far as getting the word out or what it is that what you're trying to change as far as the culture. So it doesn't matter to me. Politics, popular culture, I'll take it all.
But the algorithm,
I don't believe that there's any such thing as bad news.
But the algorithm rewards the most provocative version of
That's
oneself.
true.
So how do you make
is
sure
true.
that the version that goes viral is also the version that's the most accurate?
Well, I don't care about which version goes viral, because people gonna do what they're gonna do, right? So
Right.
I look at it as, I put the medicine inside of the candy. The entertainment is why they discover you. The medicine and what you do for them is how they stick around, right? And so I don't worry about what people do with it. Like, for example, there's plenty of people that'll take what you say, or they'll react to what somebody else played of you, but they won't go to the original source and find out the full context as to why you said what you said. Now, you can't teach that.
So also check this out too. When I seen a couple of videos put out at this moment right here, when Anton used the analogy that he put medicine in candy, right? A lot of people was responding to that negatively, right? But I'm gonna put it to you this way. A lot of you right now, y'all know me, not because of me going live right now, but a lot of y'all know me is because of what? It's because of my shorts, okay? A lot of y'all know me because of my shorts. Now, the shorts that I put out there is literally the same analogy of what Anton is saying right now, where you literally put medicine inside the candy. The shorts that I put out there, they could be very polarizing. It be shorts of different women saying the most weirdest, outlandish stuff possible, dealing with relationship and all kind of stuff to trigger the hell out of y'all, for real. But them shorts is designed to be it's designed to be the candy, right? Where y'all, that's what you want, right? But deep buried in that candy is actually the medicine. So the next part of that is that once when you see the shorts, eventually y'all start navigating over to my page, to my channel, right? And then later on down the line, you end up catching one of my live streams and see that I'm talking about, some real stuff, for real. So literally, that's how the way it works. That's how the way it works. That's how content creation works. That's why I can relate to Anton. Now, I don't agree with him fully on this, but I can relate to him what he's saying that, hey, now bad thing is bad on social media. You know what I mean? But it just depends on how I get out there. Now, I am a very, very firm advocate that I don't believe in doing beefing commentary or beefing content. I don't believe in doing anything that will violate YouTube community guidelines and standards, which is dealing with doxing and different things like that. I don't agree with that. So I don't even exercise that. I don't exercise the beefing or nothing like that, period, because I know the end result behind that. But there are other people that are willing to do that. They're willing to entertain that. So I'm just saying. But we almost done with this interview, y'all. But once again, shout out to everybody who's in the building right now. Grateful so with it. We're almost at 100 likes, y'all. We are currently at 86 right now. We could get some more likes so we could get it to 100. I appreciate y'all a whole lot.
It's a certain type of person that's going to go to the original source and want to watch the whole thing, right? I'm the type of person that I want to read your whole book because I want to understand the mindset as to why you did it when you did it. You can't teach that. So people are going to discover you and they're going to take the information and they're going to do whatever it is that they're going to do. I can't control that. The only thing I'm going to do is keep doing what I'm doing.
Now, Gravy actually said this, and I kind of do agree with him on this too. He was saying money is more important than the message for him. Now, once again, I have looked at a lot of Anton content, right? And I've been following Anton for like a really, really long time, y'all. And so I followed him back in his Lapeef days and everything. And so I done seen the evolution of Anton Daniels, okay? One thing for certain that he has expressive time and time again, whether it's on his Anton Daniel channel, whether it's on his Millionaire Morning Show. He didn't express it on his Patreon for us, the Bad Chasers, right? He is about the money. He is. And I believe that's literally, at the end of the day, that's literally what will separate me between Anton Daniels. Now, don't get it misunderstood. If you are valuable, right, and if you're carrying valuable information that can either help people, help transform people's lives, then absolutely you should get paid for doing that, straight up. Because that is a skill set. But however, if you're doing this, and like I stated earlier, you're doing this and you're just straight grifting off of people, then that's where I draw the line on it. For real. Because we all are dealing with issues every single day. And a lot of us use these apps like YouTube or whatever as an outlet, you know what I'm saying? To just get away, to decompress. Then others will go on to this app because they're looking for answers. They're looking for solutions. They're dealing with a problem and they're looking for solutions. And they're just so happen turn on to one of these content creators, hoping that these content creators will help them with whatever situation that they got going on. I'm just saying. But let's continue, y'all.
Last question, and I've said this on a recent interview that I did. It's like, to me personally, I've always been partial to Black conservatives in this regard. I think that Black conservatives have been victimized. Even, no matter how many times I went to the poll and voted for a Democrat, it always disgusted me that the default position is you must be a sellout if you are a Black conservative, as opposed to hearing why one of my best friends is a diehard Black Republican. He left the Democratic Party in 1996, and he has not looked back in the last 30 years. Die hard. And he's in my face all the time, talking to me about every little thing that the liberals do wrong. He just see, and he just, my phone blowing up all the damn time with him. And I've always been partial from the standpoint, I don't give a damn how supportive I was with the Democratic Party.
Once again, Gravy, yeah, you are making some good points, right? You said this, they need to teach viewers to think that they're self. This is no different than the grifting pastors. I agree with that. I know what you're talking about, and I agree with what you're saying. Pretty much what you are emphasizing is the echo chamber, all right? So let's say, for example, me, myself, right? I have a certain type of worldview, okay? And I express to y'all my worldview. And then you have people that come in and challenge my said worldview, right? Instead of me respecting the opposition, I will literally not only antagonize you, but I will have my loyal supporters, my loyal followers antagonize you as well too, what is known as swatting in the comment section. So they'll literally swat you, say, no, you wrong, blah, 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 and they just go in on you and different things like that. That is called having an echo chamber. And just like I say, it's no different from how the way these said pastors is doing it too. Where these pastors do the same exact thing. You'll challenge their worldview. You say that, hey, if you say that you're following the Bible, right, then why are you doing this? And then they'll create an echo chamber Well, all these people talking about, you're wrong, you don't believe in the Bible, and all they doing is quoting what the pastor's saying versus quoting what the actual Bible say, because in reality, guess what happened? That said pastor is literally teaching them the concepts based on what he wants them to know, and they quote them talking points. No different from YouTube. I done seen it happen time and time again where people literally do that. They be quoting other people talking points and saying that this is true, this is reality. But in reality, it's not. It's not. So once again, I agree with you on that, brother. Great point. Great point. That's why over here on my channel, on the lounge, I do my best to not have an echo chamber over here, period. I want people to disagree with me, respectfully. As long as you're doing it in a respectful way, I want you to disagree with me over here. I want you to put it into the one chat how much, hey, I don't disagree with you, and this is the reason why I disagree with you. As long as you're doing respectfully, by the way. I want that to happen. That's why I also have a great and wonderful moderator where he's moderating the chat, and he's not doing weird stuff like timing people out because they said something that he don't like or I don't like. We won't do none of this weird stuff over here, period. We let you say what you got to say. And by us doing that over here, guess what? It creates what is known as thought-provoking conversations over here. Respectfully. And that's how the way it should be. I believe that's how the way it should be on YouTube, but then again, people don't think like me at all, period. We got a super chat as well. Yoshi, what's up with it, man? Yoshi said this: the Black conservative awakening is happening. We are not a monolith, which I agree. Some of us are ready to assimilate and have peace. Appreciate you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that a whole lot. We're in the final leg of this interview with Stephen A. Smith with Anton Daniels, right? We got 93 likes, y'all. We're almost at 100. Those of y'all who haven't liked this video, make sure you do it right now, Get us to 100 likes, all right? So we're at the last leg of this interview. Let's hear the final part of this interview, all right?
Always been, wait a minute. Why did he say or she say that?
Yeah.
Why did he feel that way? Let's hear what they have to say, and based on that, I will make my decision about how I feel. Not automatically my default position is they ain't down for Black people. They don't care. Do you ever see that kind of mentality being rectified, particularly in this day and age, considering how hostile things are?
Never. It'll never go away.
It'll never go away?
I watched this past weekend Boys in the Hood. And it's so funny because as I watched that movie, and it came out in the early 90s, I also watched New Jack City, and I watched Menace to Society. And we did like a film study. We got this little group that we do a film study. And what I realized is that we haven't changed as a culture since the early 90s. We have the same narrative. We have the same talking points. We look at women the same. We look at the system the same. We have not changed. The hood is the same as it was back then. Everything is literally the same. Now, that was the 90s. We are in 2026, and our children, the culture, people that have never experienced racism before in their life, is claiming racism and saying that the system is against them, and they haven't even lived life long enough to see what the system is. Their brains aren't even fully developed, because your brain isn't fully developed until you're in your mid-20s. They're automatically teaching racism, and they're teaching victim Olympics to them. And it's a generational curse that we continue to pass down, and we continue to pass down. I don't think that it's ever going away. I don't think that it'll ever go away until the end of this earth. I never see it going away. Racism will be a part of the conversation. Gentrification will be a part of the conversation. Systematic oppression will be a part of the conversation. All of these are talking points and terms that we use to justify why we are in the place that we are. I don't see it happening. The only thing that you can do as an individual is to do your part, get the beam out of your own eye, and be a reflection of the thing that you advocate for. They can call me a sellout, but everybody that works for me is Black. And 80% of them are women. You see what I'm saying? Is it about your talking point, or is it about what your life is like?
Right.
So I don't pay attention to it. My goal.
Nah, respectfully, Anton, the reason why 80% of them are women is because you're selecting women as your counterparts to work with you. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Just like I told y'all earlier about me being a recruiter. By what Anton said, right, that solidified my talking point about being a recruiter, that people literally do recruit that way. They be having their favorites, so what they want to recruit. And skills and ability is the very last thing they thinking about. Because here's another thing, too. I want y'all to understand clearly. Skills and ability is the least thing that they think about, right? It's because of this. It's because at the end of the day, regardless of your skills, regardless of your ability, regardless of your education, they are going to do what? Train you the way how the way they want you to operate in their company. So it don't even matter. It don't. I'm telling y'all, it doesn't matter. Period. It really don't. So once again, y'all, Anton, you're the one who chose them women, bro. Respectfully, you chose to be around them type of women for whatever said reason. I don't know if you're doing your womanizer thing. I have no idea. I ain't up in that man business, and no, I'm not gonna pocket watch that dude. But I could tell that's from one recruiter to another. I could tell that's what it is, bro.
Goal is to save who I can, add value where I can, and make as much money as I can.
Last question to you. If you had your way and you got to impact me and my mode of thinking or what I choose to articulate or whatever, what would you do? What would you do? And so if you put me in one of them spin things and just tried to change me up, what would you do to me, Anton? What would you do?
Honestly, it's a difficult question because I understand your position and I'm looking at it from your lens, right? So, For example, I understand that you're wearing multiple hats and you're crossing boundaries when it comes
Need two more lights, y'all. We almost at 100, man.
to sports, politics, popular culture. I watch everything that you want. I read your book, obviously. I look at the podcast that you go and visit and how you talk about your life and even relationships and things like that. And so you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because I believe that one of the reasons why you are so successful is that you're able to navigate through all of these different lenses while at the same time not
Thank you.
alienating anybody in particular.
Appreciate it.
To answer your question with that context, I would push you to be 100% hardcore Republican.
Thank you.
And standing on that. Because I think that it's the right thing to do, and I think it's the true representation of what Black people originally are. We are a party. We originally from the Republican Party, right? We are conservative people. Everything that we do, from the way that we live our lives to the money that we make, and even how it is that we raise our children, we are supposed to be a conservative people. So if you're asking me what I would tell you to do from a moral perspective, I would say to lean more into conservatism and to be a Republican. If you're asking me what I would tell you to do as far as making sure that you impact the most people possible, especially whatever your future prospects is, I'm hearing that you're thinking about running for office one day, then I would tell you to continue to do exactly what you're doing. But it depends on the path that you're trying to take long term.
Great answer. Look, my man, I appreciate the time. It was a great conversation. Glad to finally meet you. I appreciate your work, even when you're getting on me.
I'm getting you on my show, Stephen.
Yo, it's done. It's done. You say it, I'll be there. You have my word.
Listen, hold on, but before we go, man, you are truly a legend. Real talk. And I believe in giving people their flowers. The same way that you give other people their flowers, you deserve your flowers. I think you are incredibly underrated. You worked your butt off.
Facts.
Nobody handed it to you. And more importantly, you broke barriers and you opened up the doors. And when you see all of these people doing some of the same things and they're trying to follow in your footsteps, whether they're former athletes or if it's people that just want to get into some of the same spaces, you are the blueprint and you should be celebrated today, not 10 years from now, not 15 years from now, not 20 years from now. I don't care what they say about you as far as the people that may not care for you or like you. You are truly a trailblazer and you deserve every single dollar, if not more, than you make it right now. And you deserve your flowers today, bro.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, man. It really means a lot to me. And I'm glad to finally meet you. And I am coming on your show. When you call,
Absolutely.
I will be there. Whether it's here, if I'm in Detroit, because it does look like I might have to get to
I'm
Detroit.
about to go to the Lakers game in a minute.
Lakers game? Well, yeah.
I'm gonna be courtside watching.
I'm back and forth
sitting there.
between New York and LA, so we can definitely get together. Just check with me. I'm happy to do it,
cool.
bro. I got you that.
All right, my
Automatic.
friend.
Appreciate you.
Love you, bro.
Thanks, man. All the best. Keep it up, man. Keep up the great work.
All right.
I could sit.
All right, so that is the end of this interview. One last thing too. Y'all remember when I was saying earlier that a man have to be about his word, right? You make your yes be yes and you make your no's be no's, right? The reason why I'm bringing this point up is because at the very end, Anton keep reemphasizing over and over again, like, hey, Steven, come to my show. Come to my show. Come to my show. Come to the Millionaire Morning Show or whatever show he got going on, right? Notice what Stephen A. Smith kept saying. He never acknowledged that he was going to actually do it. Now, there is a reason behind this, okay? But I'm not going to tell y'all. I'm going to let y'all see it when it happens, okay? Let y'all discover that for yourself. But shout out to everyone who was in the building. I appreciate y'all a whole lot. Y'all let me know about this particular episode, all right? Let me know if you agree with everything that was saying with Anton or not. Even with the one interview with Stephen A. Smith, how you feel with his commentary, his interview? Do you believe that Stephen A. Smith asked some phenomenal questions to Anton Daniels, or where he went away from questions? Y'all let me know what you think about that, this overall interview. But me personally, I believe that the questions that he asked, it was appropriate for the moment that he asked these particular questions. You know what I mean? The questions that he asked, it did challenge Anton, and Anton came back with some strong rebuttals on that. And Anton also was challenging Stephen A. Smith with his worldview as well too, and that's how the way it should be. So, yeah, appreciate that. Once again, appreciate everybody who want to tune into the show. Those of y'all who are not sub up to this channel, you need to go ahead and sub up to this channel so you can be part of the conversations that are happening, not only on these podcast episodes, but also what be happening in the chats as well, too, because I want to hear y'all perspective. I want to hear how the way you feel about these topics that we be covering, whether you agree or not. Trust me, I'm not going to get on you as long as you're following YouTube community guidelines and standards and you're not doing weird stuff. By all means, you could come in and let me know how you think about the stuff that we're talking about over here, right? And you're welcome. And I appreciate it. Appreciate the one super chats and the love as well, too. Appreciate the one thumbs up. Make sure that you want to tune in to my other episodes. Make sure you have your notifications set as well, too. I have dropped a lot of shorts today. Well, actually, it's the next day. So I got to drop some more today. But yesterday, I had dropped a lot of shorts. Make sure y'all go check out them shorts as well, too, and let me know what you think about them. And finally, I have also dropped a whole lot of community posts as well, too. So y'all let me know what you think about my community posts that we drop over here at the lounge. So appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great remainder of your weekend, and we'll see you again on the next episode.